The Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, the uplifting true story, featuring all the songs you love from his Grammy Award-winning career. October 21st through 26th at Des Moines Civic Center. On sale at dmpa.org.
Hey guys, welcome back. Post Cyhawk InCYde Zone, joined as always by Colin Newell and Jake Remsburg and Jirehl Brock, and I'm Jacqueline Cordova, and today's show is presented by Wyffels Hybrids. Guys, they snapped the streak.
The curse has been lifted. We are free from another weight off of our shoulders.
The trophy never left.
3 out of 4.
Well, it's one. I guess it's one in Ames, and it's staying in Ames now. So,
and as Campbell said in the post game, it's about time this trophy stays home or in Ames, whatever he said. But
absolutely,
it's Cyclone State. So let's go.
I think this is one where I was definitely more excited. Like when it happened. Right now, I'm the feeling. It's a Monday after the game.
Yep.
The feeling is we did what we were supposed to do. Let's get on with the rest of the year.
Yep.
It's like that. Yeah. I mean, I kind of felt the 24-hour rule as a fan too. Like, I don't know if it's just a difference when you've won 3 of the last 4 against the Hawks, but it's like, all right, that first 24 hours, fantastic. I probably watched every video on the internet that I could possibly find, every interview. Like, you're just soaking in the whole moment, and then Monday comes around and you're like, oh well, let's keep going. Like, there's no reason to stop now. So season's by far not done.
I will say it does make your week feel a little bit better, especially coming back to the office and seeing those Hawkeye fans that were trying to talk before. But no, I'm totally with you. It's like I felt confident going into the game, did what we thought we were gonna do. 3 out of the last 4. It really feels like the tides are turning. Campbell knows how to win this game. And it feels like it's really just going to be an escalation now. Like, hey, how can we do this even bigger going forward?
How did you guys feel when it was clear? Like, okay, Iowa State's, they're winning this game. Like, what was going through your head?
When was it really clear, though?
I was going to ask that.
To me, the whole game, I didn't really think it was, clear. Okay, the beginning of the game when we should have scored on both of those drives, and it should have been 14-0 instead of 6-0. If we would have scored, I would have thought it was clear from the first quarter. But the fact that it wasn't, we're in the Cyhawk game now. Iowa State's done themselves a new one a couple of times in this game where you don't know exactly what's gonna happen. And I'm happy that I think I've seen it before. This is a game that we lose, in the past, and they found a way to get it done, and that's all you can be happy about as a fan. Even if you thought that Iowa State should have blown, Iowa out of the water because of the lack of offense that Iowa has, you also have to remember that this is a rivalry game. Games that we just saw USF beat Florida. That's a rivalry game where teams that aren't supposed to win do win. And, we were supposed to win that game, and we did win that game. So let's just be happy about that no matter how it happened. Let's, when you can learn from a win, you're happy about that instead of learning from a loss.
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was closer than I anticipated, to be honest. I honestly thought this was kind of going to be the year where we kind of just take it to these guys a little bit.
Yeah.
But under Coach Ferentz and really credit to Iowa too. That's a tough environment. I thought they staying in that game is a tough task to do, and good for that team. But never really a clear sign. You kind of go through those ups and downs, and you're kind of like, here we go again, another punt return kind of mishap. I'm like, I've seen this story before. So that's kind of a moment where I kind of went from okay, we're going to take care of business in this game. And then a moment like that happens, and you kind of saw it on the field too. As that might have turned the tide a little bit, where you might, take some of Iowa State's momentum. They were kind of starting to creep along, getting field goals, which, hey, in this game, you'll take any single point you can get, because odds are no one's scoring more than 28 points. So you take the 3. But really, that kind of point, that punt return, whatever that was, which I would love to know. Do we have any rules clarification on what went down there? Like I've seen a bunch of celebration stuff on Twitter. So Newell, do you know, like, do we have anything on that punt return?
I haven't heard anything. I feel like that's one of those that can't be reviewed because it's like a subjective call where it's not like, he caught it and had a foot down. Like that's a ref saying like, oh, he blocked him into the guy. Like at what point do you say like he's no longer blocking him? So yeah. I feel like that's like, I mean, I don't know. I think as an Iowa State fan, every day of the week we're saying that's a BS call. I don't like it. I still don't like it going back and watching it. Even like the fact like it hit his arm, I'm still kind of like, I guess I never saw something that like completely made me say like that's 100% what happened.
Yeah, dude, weird play.
No change of rotation on the ball. Just let him know. There's no change of rotation on the ball. I didn't think it hit him.
I think it was kind of an interesting game. Like the fact that
as it always is.
As it always is. But like it was one that like I'm not going to say Iowa State was in control of the game, but Iowa State set the tone of the game. You go back and you watch, like, hey, they first kick off of the game and their star returner comes out and gets a 15-yard penalty because he got hit, right? Like, there's a lot of emotions that go into this game. And Iowa State was the team that was like, hey, we're going to come out and we're going to do what we got to do. Even like Campbell when I can't remember if it was his halftime press conference maybe or what he said, like, hey, we're level. Like, it happened. We got to keep on going. So I think that like, Iowa State started off what I would say is good start, right? Like they didn't finish their drives, but we were moving the ball. I thought the offensive line early in the game played really, really well and really kind of dominated Iowa's defensive line. And then all of a sudden, like you have some of these weird plays that happen in the game, right? And all of a sudden, like the momentum kind of dies. You could tell the crowd started to die a little bit. It started to be like, oh boy, what are we getting ourselves into? And then Iowa State, when they needed it the most, what happened? Iowa State drives the ball down the field, takes care of business. Bramer Moss is the guy. Like good things happen when all of a sudden they just said like, hey, we're going to get back to our level point and we're going to lock back in. So I think, kudos to Iowa State for sure with battling some of those weird things. There we go.
I would like to just point out here, I watched NFL Sunday Countdown yesterday and Randy Moss did not put this on his top 5.
That's crazy.
That's rude.
There were some crazy catches in college football though.
Granted,
all eyes were on this game,
but I was just waiting for this to pop up on my screen, and I was just gonna yell, "You got mossed!"
Yeah, that tipped ball was definitely insane, and it definitely set the tone for the rest of the game, I think.
Yeah, shout out Burkle too. Like back-to-back catches that were like total like concentration. He's going to the ground, getting hit, and he holds on to both those balls. Where like. I'm not saying most guys in the country are holding on to that ball on either time. So crazy concentration there and hell of a catch, 2 catches.
I didn't even realize the like one catch that Burkle had that was tipped. It was tipped twice. It was tipped at the line and by Xavier Townsend. Yes. I didn't realize it was tipped at the line. Obviously, that's what made the ball look as bad as it did. I thought him and Xavier Townsend were on 2 different wavelengths. I don't know, but I didn't notice that, and then I was like, wow, that takes a lot more concentration than just being tipped once.
What makes this game so weird? You guys have played in it. Is it because it's the Cyhawk? Is it all of the noise before it? Do you guys even know about what's being said before? I know we've talked about this when it comes to like, oh, we're just focused on the first game or the next game. Oh, thank you, Aiden, for this slow replay here of these just crazy catches during the game. It's like players love to tell us like, oh, the next game's the one we're focused on. It doesn't matter who it is. Like nothing matters. Yeah. Like what is it like when it comes to the Cyhawk, when you guys were, getting ready for the game, were you on Twitter seeing this stuff? Do you know what, national media is saying about you? Why is this game so weird?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different things that go into it. Media is, for sure, the hype around social media. I was never the guy to take off my social media during the season or anything, so I saw it all. Like I And I'm not going to sit here and say that you don't feel something different this Cyhawk week than a lot of other weeks, because you do, especially when you grow up in the state of Iowa.
Right.
You just know how much this game means. Like, you know, all the years growing up, going to parties, you know, with your parents, and, you know, everyone does something for the Cyhawk game in the state. Whether you like football or don't, someone's doing something for you. You're going to go to some sort of thing for the most part. Mm-hmm. So you kind of feel that energy. Obviously on campus, you feel the energy. You drive past any sorority or fraternity and everyone loves to do the bedsheet trend now. So,
yeah,
you know, you see all those, you follow, you know, Barstool ISU on Twitter. So you're seeing all these things, which at the end of the day, does it really bother you? No, like, you're still, you know, focused. Mm-hmm. Like, I would never say I saw anything that made me like more anxious about a game, or especially this game. But when you do get in that stadium and you see the students there, when you're going out in shorts and a t-shirt and it's full already, like, you realize those things. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, the student section is already full. 9 out of 10 other games this year at Jack Trice, there will be maybe 15 rows full. Mm-hmm. So you feel those type of things, and you just feel the energy, which can create a little anxious environment. And it's important to, you know, try to stay level-headed. And then when things in this game start to not go your way, you start to feel the pressure a little bit. You're like, oh, all that buildup, all that hype, like, we can't lose this game. So you do feel those things. But the more you prepare, and it's probably going to sound coach talk too, but like, it's truly the case. Like, the more you do prepare and the more you know what your job is on each play and your assignment, that's when you can, you know, start to let all that other noise kind of go to rest a little bit. It's still going to be there, but just a little bit. So it is a weird game, but it's a super fun game to play in. But yeah, it can for sure create an anxious, you know, kind of athletic performance environment.
Yeah, I think everything that Remy said was absolutely spot on. Especially like a lot of, I mean, like, I don't know, I saw somewhere on Twitter or Instagram or something, the number of kids that are from Iowa in this game makes it that much more real, right? Like, I grew up in Ames. I grew up a diehard Cyclone, and like, I played a lot against the guys that went to Iowa. And so like, naturally, like, hey, in high school you face them, so like, they're already your enemy. And then, like, you go and take it to the next level where you grow up in this game and, like, all you know is, like, you're an Iowa State fan or an Iowa fan. And, like, you know, you wear the shirt to school and you see the other kids. And it's just naturally just, like, one of those things that, like, you create a competition over. So I certainly think that's a huge part of it, too. But I must say, like, kind of like Remy said, I never turned off my social media. I've never been that active on social media. So I would see some stuff. But, like, I'm only following Iowa State fans. So I would only see, like, hey, this person says this or whatever. They're in a Twitter fight with somebody or whatever. And I just laugh. I think it's kind of funny. The stuff that I would think was funny, though, was it seems like it would always go around the locker room. I think it was Iowa would always do, like, player looks like. So they'd go through, like, the Iowa State football roster.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
We tuned into that. I tell you that.
I was waiting for somebody to bring that up.
I was going to say, can you please elaborate?
Yeah, so, like, on some of their message boards, they'd like go through like the Iowa State football roster and like screenshot dudes' headshots and then like do memes of like this person looks like this. And it's like there were some that were so mean and so funny that it was like, oh, and they'd go like people would be making fun of them all week for it too. So it was just hilarious because it could be getting sent around and like of coaches and like all these things. So there's I can't think of any of them right now, but there are some of those that like you just don't get that during a normal week against K-State or anybody like that. So that stuff gets around a little bit more. Just the hate of the week, hate week. Like it's not a secret. So some of that stuff would get around, and that would just be funny. Like that'd be comedy to us in the locker room.
Connor and Sally, they put a donkey in an ass alley. It was fun.
Yeah. That brings back some memories there, Newell.
Oh man, dude, that was always my favorite thing. Is with those. I don't know how people would find them, but they would find them and they'd send them in like the offensive line group chat. Then you're going through pages of these things, like next, just like dying laughing.
You're wondering when the next batch is coming out of next week.
Oh, totally! Like you're dying laughing. It's so funny. So shout out to those people because I always laughed at them, even if you were the one that got roasted.
I was going to say, did you guys ever see yourselves roasted?
Oh, yeah. I think I was on there for sure.
I don't think.
Yeah, I think Remy was on there. I can't remember what it was, but I need to go.
I don't either. I feel like mine was
good.
Mine wasn't that bad, but
yeah, there's some that were like, oh man, that's bad.
Oh, Jirehl, you didn't grow up in Iowa. What was it like playing in this game? Like being someone who kind of came into it, as a college student, what was it like experiencing it? I don't remember who it was in the post game. It might have been Rocco, or maybe it was Campbell who noted, like, I know how much this means to people who grew up in Iowa. So it means a lot to them to bring those people the trophy, keep the trophy in Ames, I should say. I mean, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a different experience, especially from the guys that are sitting here with me, because they grew up in Iowa, grew up either Iowa State, Iowa fans. Jake, I don't know which one you really grew up. Dad one time, Iowa, ended up going to Iowa State. We got to watch.
I'm where I'm supposed to be now, buddy. I'm where I'm supposed to be now.
Oh no.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. But like for me, it was different motivation. Like during recruiting, Iowa was my first offer. Some stuff happened. I almost went to Iowa. Some stuff happened recruiting wise. I ended up not liking Iowa ever. So that was my motivation when going into those type of games. But for other kids that just aren't from Iowa and don't know exactly what that is until you're in it. I mean, and you hear it from the fans, especially when we were going there, it was like, we haven't beat Iowa in a while. Like, are you going to be the class to get it done? And stuff like that. So obviously as a player, you feel it and you want to be able to say that it's a Cyclone State and, be a part of the winning side. And I think Iowa State has turned the tide, and it's our time to go on a big streak, a long streak, even this up. I don't know exactly what the record is in the Cyhawk game, but I see, Iowa fans trying to cancel the game now so we don't even it up because we're kind of.
Yeah.
We need about 20 in a row, I'm pretty sure.
We can do it.
And hey, Matt Campbell, 20 more years, baby.
So, according to the team notes, Iowa leads the all-time series 47-25 while holding a 14-13 advantage in the last 27 meetings.
Let's talk about the last 4 meetings stuff.
So, yeah, anyways. I do have a question about the game itself before we jump into the technical things of how Iowa State performed and really looking ahead at the season. So obviously officiating was a little interesting and there were interesting moments on the field. Is there a lot of trash talk during this game? Is Iowa State and Iowa players just talking smack to each other the whole time? What is that side of it like? Because we get a lot of media talking to each other. We get a lot of the fans fighting each other, but what's it like between the players?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It depends. It depends.
It depends on the person, really.
Yeah.
I can say for us, I was never a huge trash talker. I was kind of just honestly really quiet, except when we scored. I've talked some trash when we scored. But I did play next to an individual, Daryl Simmons.
That dude could trash. He trash talk. It was no different. Whoever he was playing, he was going to find something about that person and not let it go.
Absolutely. But honestly, as a whole, trash talking, I feel like is just way more on the fans, the fan interaction, stuff like that. When you're on the field and you're, have a job at hand, defense, it's much easier for defensive players to trash talk, I feel like a little bit. If you have a big hit or something, that's super easy to trash talk and get in someone's face. I've got trash talk too multiple times too, but I wouldn't say it's, overly glaring, at least not when I was out there. It's not something that, it's the most common question I get asked as a former college football player is, oh, what kind of trash talk did you hear out there? How's the trash talk? And I always just kind of come up, I kind of just sit there and it's it's nothing crazy, to be honest. Just competitive, trash talk. There's nothing too overly out of control. So
Like nothing out of the ordinary.
Oh yeah, nothing nothing I couldn't probably say on this podcast. Well, maybe.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. Right now, but
maybe not say on the podcast, but it was definitely there's definitely some people that trashed. Like there were some people that were smooth with it. Like it was definitely part of their game. But yeah, I was like Remy. I wasn't really part of my game. I feel like I didn't even say anything to Iowa. Like in general, like less so than other games. So,
like for instance, here's a good story. We're playing Cincinnati a couple years back, and this is towards the end of the game. Like it is 5 minutes left. It's clear we're gonna win. And I asked a simple question: what do you guys do in Cincinnati? Like after a game? And I'm like, do you guys go out to eat? Is there Buffalo Wild Wings around here? And that other guy did not like that. So maybe that was my trash talk game. It's just a simple conversation on the field.
Like you asked one of their players?
Yeah, I asked the defensive end. I was just like, what's kind of the vibe in Cincy after, a loss? Do you guys grab some food or something, or what goes on? But
Remy, that would piss me off.
I know. I should have used it more. Like it's kind of actually kind of genius now that I say that out loud.
Remy playing the nice guy, and that's your trash talk.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, let's get into some of the game. Like we said, this game's always weird, and there were definitely weird moments. I think when I look at this game, there were definitely things Iowa State did, and Iowa State kind of got out of the game that like the tipped ball, for example. I feel like that's something Iowa would have happened to them, and it works out in their favor and they secure the game. But it felt like in this game, it was really in Iowa State's favor, because in my post-game trash talk, it was very much like, hey, Iowa State made some mistakes that really opened the door for Iowa to take control of the game, and they didn't. And that's really the way I took it. Was all right, Iowa State was able to still kind of keep control of the game. What did you guys see? Like, how did you guys feel at the end of the game? Obviously, like we said, it was hard to kind of feel like that super ecstatic feeling because they didn't really score as much as they could have. What do you think really was? I mean, yeah, let's just keep it simple. What did you think of how Iowa State overall performed?
I think in this game a lot, Iowa State loses because they find ways to beat themselves, and Iowa just doesn't do that. Yep. And like you're saying, with the tip ball, like that's usually something that goes Iowa's way. And Coach Campbell used to say it all the time: create your own luck. Like there's no such thing as luck. Like create your own luck. I think we had a lot of that. I can remember Carson Hansen fumbled and if Iowa gets that, they have like 20 yards to score. That takes me back to what 3-4 years ago, Brees's fumble. And those are just plays that like if they get that and score there, totally different game. So like making the ball bounce our way, we just made more plays at the end of the day. We got lucky in some situations, but there was also situations where that could have been avoided, and it wouldn't have been as close. If we don't get that penalty on fourth down when we get the sack, and now it would have been a holding, but now it's a 15-yard penalty. Now they're in the 5, and they get first play rushing touchdown with their quarterback. If we don't give them those yards, they might not even score. They might just kick a field goal. So it's just those things we didn't do. We didn't beat ourselves as many times as we would have in the past in this game, and we actually made Iowa beat themselves in a lot of situations. Jeremiah Cooper with the interception. We don't get a lot of turnovers against Iowa, I think. And I don't even know the statistics in the past 5 years, but I guarantee we've turned them over less than 3 times in the last 5 times we've played them. Maybe I don't know exactly the numbers. Don't quote me on that. But those are just things that we usually don't do against Iowa. That when you do those things, it turns the tide completely. Yeah,
I think Iowa State is becoming the more physical team. You look at Iowa, you think of really strong offensive line play, really good defensive line, really good linebackers is historically how I view Iowa. And I feel like Iowa State went out there, like there's times early in the game, Tyler Miller comes down on a third down and completely blows the whole lineup. Like he moves three or four guys and just completely makes a hole for Carson Hansen to have a big run. And you look at situations like that where Iowa State is all of a sudden being the ones that's the attackers. And like when Jirehl says like, hey, make the ball bounce your way, I think that's a huge way that Iowa State does that, right? 3 sacks on Iowa. Don't give up any sacks. So I think like when you look at those situations and look at situational football where Iowa State's bringing the hammer to Iowa, that's something that like if I'm an Iowa fan, I'm like, oh crap, like this is not how it's supposed to be. So I think that's like a total tide turn in terms of saying like, hey, did we control the game the whole time? No. Were there some throws that Rocco made that should have been caught? Probably, right? Some big chunk plays in situations that, you know, you feel like you get those, it may break the game open even more than it did. Iowa State was still 8 for 15 on third down, so we converted well on third down, and we kept on the field. And then obviously that defense, like we saw that sack. We saw the sacks come. We saw some of the pressures come. We saw some different situations where Iowa State made that Iowa offense. I'm not going to say that they're an impressive offense, but like it looked like a JV team playing a varsity team in situations from the fact of like they could not operate a lot.
That's actually a really good point, Newell, on the line of scrimmage because, you know, Iowa, they've done the same thing up front for a very long time, and they're very good at doing it. You know, they bring in these freshmen, and they're taught the same system over and over for years. So they're very good at what they do up front, and that has been in the past in this game, like kind of like didn't win the line of scrimmage really. They kind of got after us. But I think on Saturday, both sides of the ball got after the line of scrimmage. Yep. You mentioned Tyler Miller, Dom, Orange. I mean, if you want to talk about a stud, Dom Orange. Incredible to watch. I've never seen a nose tackle so fun to watch. Like so much fun. He's so much potential.
Yeah, he's a monster.
He's a monster. He got after their offensive line, which for years growing up in this state, you always talk about Iowa's offensive line and how, you know, nothing against those guys. They have great players. Jane Dunker right there is a good player. But that dude, Dom Orange, is a dude up front. And you mentioned Miller. I think Jim Boniface is an underrated name this year so far. You know, in a career stage, in a career journey, you know, go from, you know, starting pretty young to not starting a whole year and then coming back in and filling some voids on the offensive line and playing as well as he is. I was in Denver watching the game, and I was with my buddy Bo Lombardi, who I went to high school with, and he played at Army. And the amount of comments he had, and he played center at Army, different kind of offensive line play, but, you know, just the amount of comments he had about, 63, look at 63 get out on a pull. You know, get in space. You know, the ability to block second level linebackers and finish plays. It's critical, and I think we're kind of starting to really see the side effects of the Ryan Clanton effect at Iowa State, which is super fun. Especially when I've played with him, I know, you know, what that. I was there his first year, and when leaving that, you know, program, that room, I knew that room was in for good things, and you really are seeing the dividends. Now, on the contrary, I would also look at this game and say, you know, this game kind of matters win or lose. If you get the win, great. If you get the loss, you know, you keep moving forward. It's not a conference game. And all be all, it's important for a playoff berth, potentially. You don't know down the road. But, you know, conference games are coming up. And, you know, if you want to take that film, we probably weren't as efficient as we'd want to be on offense. Right? Sometimes defense. And the ability for them to take that film, I guarantee you, Campbell, in the team meeting on Sunday, was like, it's important to win this game. It's important to come up on top, but look at all this stuff on the film that we could still correct. So I think, you know, the potential of this team can still go forward. You know, the Big 12's coming. You know, if we maybe would have played like that against Texas Tech, we wouldn't have won. So it just, you know, there's some good teams out there, and it's the ability to take that film and take those corrections and continue to get better. So,
one point here, real quick: Dom Orange was Iowa State's second leading tackler.
As a nose tackle, that is insane.
And we know that nose tackles are not supposed to do that, especially in a three down front.
Like, that's crazy.
Like, he's literally there to draw double teams. That's what Dom is there to do. So if he's the second leading tackler on, he's doing a lot of things that we haven't seen at nose tackle in a while.
We saw it, at Texas. T'Vondre Sweat would be on that level.
Well, okay, I'm talking about Iowa State.
I'm just saying, you can put Dom on Sweat's level.
Oh.
Shout out Sweat, tighten up.
Okay. Well, Dom Orange notched a career high 6 tackles. I got a photo and I should have sent it to Aiden. He was literally flying. He was literally in the air doing like a karate chop type movement, which I don't know how much he weighs, but that's a big boy. So he's
don't disclose.
He's athletic though. Super athletic.
No, he's great.
I've seen him moving this year.
Moving.
Dom, I mean, he's moving for a big boy. It's like scary to see that guy.
Oh,
yeah, look at him.
Explosive too.
Look at him. He's literally flying. So impressive.
I don't have these numbers, but I want to say his snap count's probably up too, which is super tough, and especially in our defense. But I feel like he's playing too. A majority of these snaps, which that wasn't the case maybe even a year ago. How much he was playing, so it looks like the Reed Keg effect is also an effect for our conditioning and obviously our explosiveness, because that picture was insane.
I know, it was crazy to witness. When you guys look at the offense, as you know, former guys on the offense, something I found really interesting was when Rocco was being interviewed in the post game. I think it was like 2 or 3 questions in. I can't remember what the question specifically was, but Rocco right away brought up the fact, Iowa State was 3-0. I think it was 2022. He's like, and then they went and we lost X amount of games. I can't remember right now off the top of my head, so that's bad hosting on my part. But
we lost about 8 in a row.
Yep. Okay. Yep. And so he immediately brought that up, which I thought was really interesting, and it just goes back to that whole mentality of what it's like for you guys being on the inside. I mean, walking out of this game and looking ahead at the rest of the season, Iowa State's obviously poised right now, very good position. What happened to the offense, in your words, in this game, and really how do they come out of it to finish more drives with touchdowns instead of having to go for the field goals? How do they maximize their scoring opportunities?
I think a lot of that is Iowa does a very similar thing defense. Obviously, completely different structure on defense, but Iowa's whole thing is like bend it but don't break. It's a lot of what we see at Iowa State. I think that Iowa State has a better ability to make adjustments to, hey, early on we let them in, and then the second half, like, good luck trying to even move the ball past the 50. So Iowa doesn't have that ability yet, I would say. But Iowa's scheme is very much like, hey, we'll give up the 5 or 10 yard pass. A lot of what they try to do on offense, right? Throw the ball 5 or 10 yards and then play from there. See, and really just test the team's willingness to not try to make a mistake, right? Like, don't force something. Take what we give you, because a lot of teams say, hey, I need to have a big shot. I need to get the crowd involved. I need to do this, that, the other thing. So credit to Iowa for that. But it really comes down to, like, hey, you got to score in the red zone, right? We had obviously field goals. How do we go and make sure that we get touchdowns in those situations? And I have no doubt that they'll get that ship righted there.
You could probably look at the film too, and some of these red zone drives are probably just one thing away. One block away, one kind of missed assignment, one route that wasn't ran as efficient as you'd want. It wasn't on the right landmark on the field. So there's just a lot of different things where you can look at it and you're like, one step away. But at the same time, I mean, you're also like, as for coaches, like, they're dialing up plays that you think would work, and what they're gonna give you or show you, it could be completely different. And you kind of have to adjust and pivot based on that. But yeah, I think it's really just, establishing, a red zone offense that can be, you have your go-to plays probably. And I think we all have all the confidence in the world of Coach Mouse is going to dial something up. And at the same time, it's still the beginning of the year. So, I always kind of never felt, like we were fully in sync until October. The first couple games of October, that's when you really start to feel like everything can click, and everyone kind of knows what they're supposed to be doing. So it's just it's football. Like they could have had a great call, but that's why there's 9 more games left or whatever we have left. So trying to fix it.
I do think Iowa State down the field passing this year, as far as aggressive as we've been, I feel like we're so close. Like even an Iowa game, like I don't remember us taking as many shots in previous years as we did even this year. So like Iowa State and Coach Mauser is still uber aggressive, which is awesome to see. It is going to be a time this year where there's 3 or 4 deep bombs that are going to hit in the game, and it's going to be like, where did this come from? So I think it's awesome to see how aggressive they are, even against a team like Iowa that doesn't give up long passes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for fans that don't know, red zone offense is so much harder than offense just
absolutely
other than the red zone because of how much shorter field it is. It's like the defense uses that out of bounds as another defender. They're not letting anything past them, but because the out of bounds is there, but anything in front of them, it's easier for them to get to because they're so close to the line. And Iowa does a really good job because they're very sound. They have, good technique on the D line, so it makes it really hard on the offensive linemen to run on the on their D line in the red zone just because they have so many big bodies in there. And that's why you'll see us use Rocco's legs a lot more when it comes to red zone because it's a numbers game. If you got the ball in your quarterback's hands, that's just one more person that you have blocking and a running back to be able to, hopefully get a hole somewhere and just get an opening to get into the end zone. But, like Jake said, red zone offense is something that improves throughout the year. Throughout the whole year, so it's something that we'll see that we have a 6-7 tight end in our tight end room to just throw it up to him when we get into the red zone like that. So you'll probably see a lot more Benjamin Bramer fades or tight end seams in the red zone.
That's actually a great point, Jirehl. I kind of just remembered that from back in the day. We used to take a look at the field, and from about the 50 to the 30 going on, and we used to call it like a red zone, or not like a hot zone or whatever.
Gold zone was
something, gold zone or something. So you see in that area from the 50-yard line to the 30, this is when teams will start to bring a lot of different pressures and stunts and different coverages because they're trying to keep you from that 30-yard line. Because that 30-yard line is obviously you kick field goals there. It's we make field goals, and we can make field goals, so I can tell you that. But teams try to keep you out of that. So they're going to try to throw things at you. Now, when you cross the 30, then you actually see a lot of defenses start to just play base defense because you're right, Jirehl. They know they have that background defender back there. So they're going to play you base defense, base stuff, and then it'll be like, best of luck to you. We're gonna dial up different sorts of things, different alignments, but it's pretty much game on. So it is kind of difficult. It limits your playbook, but that's football, and that's why we love it.
Remy, that's a great point. Like as a player, when we were on offense, how many cut-ups, coaches would make cut-ups for us, and it'd be like, hey, coming out. So the first 5 yards or 10 yards if you're backed up, this is the stuff that they run. So as a player, you got to be aware of hey, when we're backed up, they run this blitz. Hey, at midfield, they run this blitz. At second and long at midfield, they run this blitz. Once we cross over the 50, they may run a completely different blitz or however they hide stuff. I mean, it's all different at every single level and position on the field for players to be aware of. And a lot of times, as offensive linemen, especially with running backs, tight ends, we're talking hey, it's third down. We're on this side of the 50. Watch for this blitz. Be aware for this. So I think that's one thing. How much studying goes into that aspect is a really unique part of the game. And teams do change their defenses almost entirely once you get to that red zone.
It's crazy.
Well, before I ask you questions, looking ahead at Big 12, we have to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Wyffels Hybrids. They are an independent seed corn company making some noise in the Corn Belt. That's their 2025 campaign. It's Make Some Noise, which, Iowa State does at Jack Trice. It was pretty rowdy this weekend, filled to the absolute brim. If Wyffels can deliver the products and support of the big corporate players, why not choose a company rooted in the same fields and communities as you? And like I say every week, seriously, they're Cyclone supporting Cyclones. They have a new nice facility right outside of Ames. Aiden and I accidentally ended up driving by it when we had to maneuver through some of that post-game traffic. We ended up getting all the way turned around, but it's a very nice facility. So as always, no better people to support than Cyclones who support Cyclones. They also not only support Cyclone Fanatic and us here at InCYde Zone, but they're also supporting Cyclone Athletics and just local sports. And they're even partnered with the Iowa State College of Agriculture and Life Sciences because, in honor of the Cyhawk, Iowa State actually helps farmers. But you can learn more about Wyffels Hybrids at wyffels.com, which is Wyffels. So plus I think they have such a nice logo and like their marketing, so clean, so sharp.
I know. I think I might have to get a hat or something, or a t-shirt.
I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to get some.
I know. Let's make some noise. I love that slogan too.
No, it's a good one.
Whoever's behind that marketing slogan just must have known that Iowa State football this year was going to make some noise.
Oh.
Just capping off this weekend, I know none of you were in Ames this weekend, which is so sad. Everybody had stuff going on out of town, as Remy said. I'll give a shout out to Fox. I've been very complimentary of them. I wish you guys could have experienced it just as people who have been around the ESPN College Game Day, kind of, since, you couldn't really be out in the craziness. Fox was literally so much better. Like the experience, the vibes, the production, all of it was fantastic. I don't think there's anything wrong with catering to the host school. They had TJ Alterberger on the production. They brought in Tyrese Halliburton as their official guest. They had Anthony Becht and Deanne Becht on the broadcast. And I thought Dave Portnoy, despite all of his controversies, I thought he did a great job. He was decked out in Iowa State gear for majority of the day until he, pulled his antics, ripped it all off, and had that Caitlin Clark jersey on underneath. But it was really, really fun. I thought it was a really good experience. And at least from a media standpoint, I literally rolled up and their media contact, his name's Jack, walked up in casual clothes, had on a snapback, walked me all over the set, told me I could go basically anywhere as long as I was out of the way. Whereas like ESPN had us on the teeny tiniest perch as far away from the set. Whereas with this set, I was like literally in the stage. So I thought that was pretty cool for Iowa State fans and all the students who were literally there at like the night before, I think.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Did you guys watch the Barstool pregame?
I did a little bit.
Was it good? I didn't get a chance to.
I thought it was. I'm not a Barstool guy really, but I watched it and I'm like, I can get down with this. Like they were definitely like Iowa State. Like they bought into the Iowa State culture, right? Like. I feel like there's a lot of areas there that they were slamming on Iowa a little bit, which I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. And I thought it was pretty good.
I'm a Stooley Newell, so I'm a big time Stooley. So,
and what was your thoughts on it being a Stooley?
Well, the fact that Dan Katz, Big Cat, was there and I was not there.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Big Cat's my guy. I'm a Pardon My Take listener. So that was like my one salty one. We've actually had a couple interactions. I mean, with the Fox Big Noon kickoff, we've had the Big Noon with us before, and they typically always stay in the visiting team's hotel. I shared an elevator ride with Jenny Taft, was like the nicest woman ever. Like she was like, "Oh, do you have any plans for tonight? What's your big pregame rituals?" And so she was super nice in the elevator. So I have always had good things to say about the Fox crew. They're super super cool, and I love Gus Johnson calling Iowa State games. That's 2 years back to back. We got the Cyhawk game with two groups of, legendary college football announcers, which is super cool.
Yeah.
No, they do a great job. I love their broadcasts on. I love Big Noon, kickoff, all of that. I think they do a great job. They got a great cast, a good mix between coaches, analysts, players. You know what I mean? They kind of get every aspect of the game. So I think they do a great job, to be honest.
Did you guys see that Metro Boomin was there?
Yeah. That was a shock to me.
I still don't understand why he was there, but I'll take it. It just felt very random.
I think he's related to a player.
Okay. That makes a little more sense. When I saw the picture of him in the locker room, I was like, what in the world? But obviously,
it's big time celebrity weekend.
I know.
I wish I was there, but I was having a good time in Denver. We were repping in the Iowa State alumni bar. It was a good time. I don't know if you saw my Twitters at all. Really good owner, big time Cyclone dude, and a great post game Sweet Carolina in the bar. So
Iowa State fans are everywhere, man.
They truly
Cyclones
are.
Everywhere.
Cyclones everywhere.
So they have Arkansas State next week, of course, but Big 12 is just right around the corner. And when you guys look ahead at the rest of the season, how are you feeling? I mean, 3-0, obviously a really great place to be. But how do you really feel about this team? Just talking straight technical, how you're seeing them perform on the field, outside of the weirdness of Cyhawk. How do you guys overall feel about Iowa State's place in the Big 12? Which I know is a really loaded question.
Overall, it's hard to tell right now. Obviously, we have the win against Kansas State, which is big, which I still think Kansas State's a good team. I think Army's actually a really good team too. So I don't, you never count out those guys. When I was just with a couple of those guys this weekend. So there's a couple of or at least we have a Big 12 game under our belt. But it'll be interesting to see how it kind of all plays out. It's fun watching all the other scores. Arizona State, that's a tough place to play. Mississippi State, and Baylor coming back and beating SMU out of nowhere. So it's just going to be a lot of good games on our schedule, and I think it starts honestly this week with Arkansas State. We're coming off, essentially I know everyone likes to call it the Iowa Super Bowl, which it is, like it's the Iowa Super Bowl, which is the biggest game in the state that day. We're going down to a team that we are now their Super Bowls. We're a bunch of teams Super Bowls now, which makes it really challenging, but it's fun for us. We have a target on our head in the Big 12. Everyone's talking about Iowa State, which is a good thing. We've been playing really good football. But this Arkansas State team has this date circled like we had, an Iowa date circled. So, and especially the fact that we're on the road, which makes it even more tough. But I don't know anything about Arkansas State, really. I know they did have a CML kid at some point that played there. That's about all I knew. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game, I think, next week. And you get through that, and you get through a bye, and then then we can really start diving into the Big 12 and what that kind of looks like. Obviously, I would say right now we're the top dog in the Big 12. I think we have every bit of statistic to prove it. We have 2 Power 4 wins. I don't know if any other Big 12 team has 2 Power 4 wins, but anyways, we're the top dog. So continue to go through each week knowing that and preparing like that, and it will be a big test.
Can't be complacent in this game. This game kind of reminds me, and hopefully it turns out totally different than this game did, but it reminds me of that Ohio game when Coach Campbell is 20-7 since that game. But that Ohio game, and that was lost, that you go there expecting to win completely just because of the name of the team and the conference of the team, and they're just not a better team, but then you lose because you kind of go into that game expecting it. Not saying that that's where the team's mindset was that day, but that complacency can definitely get to you in a game like this, where it's a trap game. That's literally what it is. The what last out of conference game before you start Big 12. If you look too far ahead, you you can end up going into next week at 3-1 instead of 4-0. So it's definitely one of those where you have to lock in. Everybody does it, and if you lock in, starters, if you lock in for for this game, maybe you're only in there half. Get to rest, but you can't
get
go
the Newell treatment.
You can't go into the game thinking like that, because then you'll end up playing the whole game, and then you're like, I was expected to be sitting down on the bench the second half, and we're still in here, and it's a close game because I wasn't prepared to play this long. You know what I mean? So you have to go in with the right mindset to handle business, and just like it's any other game, go in like you're about to play Iowa again, because especially coming off of an emotional win like that, everything's setting up for Iowa State to lose this game. You just can't let it happen.
Yeah, I'm going to be the homer here. I'm bullish, really bullish. I think one thing I look at is like this offensive line. We're still missing probably maybe one of our best offensive linemen that hasn't played a game this year in Trevor Burr. Trevor Burr. So he hasn't even played a game yet this year. And I think that's going to be something that over time, like this team is deep. I mean, how many guys at every single position as far as receiver, right? Like we're just starting to see Townsend integrated into this offense. Eskelson, I think, has been like one of the like total like shocks of the season. I was really high on them last year in the couple games they played on, but like talk about a deep threat and someone that can go run under a ball and make a play, like super impressive. Obviously, everyone knows about our tight ends. Our running backs, we have two really good running backs. We have Rocco. We've seen some of these young guys at quarterback too. So like they're obviously all driving each other. And then like you look at the defense, like how many linebackers do we play? And it's not really like a big drop off. Our defensive line, I think, is playing really well. I'm happy that we're starting to get that pass rush. Corners have played great. Safeties are flying around, and we play a bunch of them. Like, and you talk about winning football down the road. A lot of these teams that win big time games are teams that you can play 60 or 70% with your starter of the game, and then they can get some time off. So then when big plays happen or big moments are there, they're ready to play. They're going to stay healthier. They're not going to be blowing each other out on these games. So I think in terms of like depth, when you look across the board right now for Coach Campbell, what he's been able to do, it's really, really impressive. And down the stretch, like Remy said, when I was there, we really didn't have like 6 offensive linemen. Like we played 5 guys and they went out there and they did that. We'd play maybe 4 linebackers. We'd play maybe 5 defensive linemen. Like these guys are going to get some opportunities to get rest, get their bodies healthy, but also then be challenged and pushed by guys to know like, hey, if I don't produce here, like there's someone else that's just as capable as me to go in there and play. So I like what they've done. I love how aggressive Coach Mauser is. We know what we have on defense and Coach Haycock. So I think it's great. You can tell in Campbell too, like his confidence like is off the charts, and way he looks at his special teams and priority to say like, hey, go hit another 54-yarder. Like you can't tell me when he went that 63 or 64 or whatever it was last week, like that wasn't like giving Campbell so much confidence to be like, all right, Kyle, here we go. We got you in a situation where you can go win us a football game. What do you say, kid? Mm-hmm. So I think in terms of that, like obviously that stuff on the punt return, like that's going to get cleaned up. Like weird deal. I don't expect us to see that happen again. But I mean, it's just one of those situations where I feel like Iowa State is a football team, not just defense or not just offense. Like they're clicking pretty damn well right now.
This is definitely an Iowa State team that I think seems very connected and like very, very tight. Like you said, I think it's been really fun to see Campbell on the sidelines and just seeing what they're producing on the field. Because like you said, Mauser, I think I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with just how much he just throws it out there. I like his attitude. I just like his sassiness to him. It seems Campbell really trusts him, and I think it's just made fun watching Rocco out there and see what they throw out there. So it's definitely
trust him. Campbell's gotta trust him. Taylor left his his girl for Coach Campbell.
Oh my gosh. When they said that on the broadcast, I was like, hold up. Why did I not hear about this? For anyone who didn't hear this, on the broadcast during the game, they shared a story about how, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was like he came to Ames with his girlfriend, and then his girlfriend was like, yeah, I don't think this is the place for me. And he basically said, okay, bye.
Yeah. That's what it said on the broadcast, but which makes it fun because he kind of, back to his play calling, he kind of calls plays like his personality, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Coach
yeah.
He's got such an infectious personality, high energy, kind of funny. I would say really funny.
Yes, he's very funny.
His tweets, super funny.
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted a picture of Gabe Burgle today in a sweater. Like, that's just who Mouse is, and he calls football games like that, and I can't think of a better correlation.
Yeah, it looks like they're having fun. It looks like Campbell's having fun.
That's the shocker.
Yeah,
when you'll say Campbell looks confident, that's a good point because I feel that too. I'm like, whoa. Like,
yeah.
That's a little different.
They truly look joyful. Like doesn't look like they're like sitting there like stressed out. Like
no.
It feels like it's like, hey, how do we have as much fun as possible, work our asses off, and like guess what? We're winning football games.
Winning football games.
What else can we do?
That's a great point, Newell.
Maybe a conversation for the bye week to dive into those side conversations. I'll ask you one last question. If you have to put it into one sentence, you can't go over more than one sentence. What is it going to take to make sure Iowa State continues on a successful path? Like, what do they have to do to make sure to not get trapped in the trap game next week?
I was always told in English that I have run-on sentences, so forgive me. I have a run-on sentence.
I was sitting here like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can listen to a sentence.
Okay, you're allowed to use a run-on sentence.
I think I got it. I think I'm going to get it.
Okay.
Don't turn the ball over. Okay. That's one sentence.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, all right.
Yeah, I mean, turnovers is definitely protect the ball. I would say win at the line of scrimmage.
Nice.
We go. Because no matter what game it is, like if you're losing up front, offensively, defensively, I don't care who you're playing. If you're getting pushed back, you're not gonna. That's just going to feed into the rest of the team. The line of scrimmage, the trenches, that's where it starts. That's where the linebackers are able to come fill gaps. That's where the running backs are able to find gaps and get that run game going. So, win at the line of scrimmage.
Stay aggressive.
Nice.
I love the way that they've done it, and they're going to keep on doing it and make big plays. I mean, we got the guys who go out there and make plays, so let's let them do their thing.
Another sentence would be 8 players playing 8 football, which we always got told. When our best players are playing at their best, I don't think there's any team in the country that can. If we're playing our best football, we're going to be able to win football games.
Well, that was good, guys. You kept it out of sentence.
No run-ons.
Thanks for the challenge on a nice Monday night. Get my brain working a little bit.
I haven't been to school in a while.
I don't even know what a sentence is.
Well, the Cy-Hawk Trophy stays in Ames. Iowa State plays Arkansas State on the road. As stated, it'll be an interesting game. Don't overlook it.
They have a cool stadium. They have like a waterfall in their stadium, don't they?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they got like rocks with a waterfall that come down in their stadium. I only know that because also old Cyclone Johnny Lang transferred to Arkansas State.
Johnny Lang.
Johnny Lang.
Good dude.
Does he still have his SoundCloud? I'd love to hear his SoundCloud some more. I loved his songs, dude. He had the best rap songs.
Well, anyways, the game will kick off at 3 p.m. and we'll be back next week to talk about the game as always. Shout out to Wyffels Hybrids. Thanks for listening, guys.